Fresh off a top 5 class in 2024, the Hurricanes are feeling as hot as the temps in South Florida. This round off to a slightly slower start, still sitting in the top 10 at number 9. 8 players from the top 247, good by most team standards, but expectations, as we know, are always higher at the U. So let's talk about the state of Miami with Gaby Urrutia of Inside the U. Gaby, we got to ask you about the most immediate news, which is what we talked about at the top of the show. Landing safety Bryce Fitzgerald over the weekend. What does he add to this class?
Yeah, Bryce Fitzgerald is a ball hawk and safety player. You mentioned it, 15 interceptions over the last 2 years, led Miami Belen Jesuit to a state title as a basketball player. He's just a big-time athlete. He's a guy that just finds the football. He can potentially play corner at Miami. He has the ability to play high safety. So Miami's really excited about adding Bryce Fitzgerald. They had to beat Florida State to get him. So getting him on board is a really big deal, just getting a local guy like that from right down the road.
Gaby, that was big news, but there's obviously been some other big news this offseason. We want to congratulate you on the new addition to the family. We had visit season, we had commitment season. Now it's going to be flip season, so there's no real time to rest, I would suppose, but I hope you are getting some rest when you can. Mykah Newton, he flipped from NC State to Miami. He is going to stay in the Sunshine State. What was your reaction to that news?
Yeah, a guy that Miami kind of evaluated after official visit season, a guy that I think they always liked, but, extended that offer as they kind of sorted through their defensive line board. Again, a guy in state who's played a lot off the edge, but someone who Miami thinks can kick inside and potentially develop into a high motor defensive tackle. I think Miami's just betting on a lot of the traits that he has. Again, starting with that motor. He doesn't turn 18 until next summer, so he'll be 6 months into college before he even turns 18. So a lot of developmental upside there with Mykah Newton, and Miami loves what they could potentially get from him as a versatile guy who, again, could play on the inside or potentially kick on the outside and rush the quarterback from that edge.
Speaking of flips, you have a great story up right now at InsideTheU.com about Georgia wide receiver commit Tyler Williams, how he is, quote, still keeping an eye on the Canes. So what's the latest there?
Yeah, Miami's looking to add pass catchers. They had a really productive year from the position between Jacoby George and Xavier Estrepo last year, even Colby Young, who transferred to Georgia in the offseason. Miami is expecting to throw the ball a lot in Shannon Dawson's air raid system. And Tyler Williams is a guy that Miami still really values. He's at Sefner Armwood now. They were down in Dade County, really handled Miami Norland at the historic Traz Powell here. They beat him 51-20. So a big win. Tyler Williams had a lot to say about that with a long touchdown and a long kick return before being sort of shut down. But, he's a big guy that the Hurricanes have been after for a long time. They thought that they were really close to getting him this summer. Ultimately, he chose Georgia, but Miami's still coming after him really hard. So he's definitely going to give him a look. Kind of assured me that he was going to be at a Miami game or two this season, and also mentioned Auburn and UCF as schools that are still persistently pursuing him. So I would keep an eye on those two as well.
Miami is trying to make it 6 straight cycles of signing at least one top 24/7 running back. We know that the SEC is making a real charge for Canes running back commit Gerard Pringle Jr. What's the pulse on that recruitment, Gaby, as we head into the season?
Yeah, I think Gerard Pringle's totally locked in. Before getting to Miami or being hired by Miami, Matt Merritt was a running backs coach at USF. And before Gerard Pringle emerged as a national recruit, Gerard Pringle was Matt Merritt's top running back target at USF. So that relationship was long-standing. And again, as Matt Merritt, transitioned to Miami to take over the running backs coach there, Gerard Pringle was the first call he made. Again, he kind of started emerging as a big-time running back with Georgia, Alabama, Florida, a bunch of the national guys coming around on Pringle. But I think that long-standing relationship with Matt Merritt and Gerard Pringle ultimately helped the Hurricanes kind of seal the deal here. And I don't envision a scenario where Pringle's not in Miami's class at the end of the day.
I'm sure Miami fans happy to hear that after watching some of those highlights. I can see why those other schools are swarming. Gaby, we want to pop up something that you posted on X recently just to get a little bit of clarity here. So this is a tweet from Front Office Sports talking about John Ruiz and his company Life Wallet, saying that there's substantial doubt that the company can continue operating. There's, of course, been a lot of confusion as far as his involvement. That was part of something that you tweeted earlier, saying that a reminder he has little to no involvement in Miami's NIL space. So what can you update us in terms of how the situation with Life Wallet and that company potentially affects what's happening with Miami's booster situation and NIL?
Yeah, I think, matter of factly, it doesn't. It has basically nothing to do with what Miami's doing. I think John Ruiz initially, as at the onset of the NIL era, obviously became a big figure in the space, and he for a point he was someone who was heavily backing Miami athletics. But I would say for over the past year, John Ruiz again has had little to no involvement. Everything with Miami has been going through Canes Connection. They've done an extraordinary job keeping Miami competitive. Miami just signed the top 5 class with, again, no involvement from John Ruiz at all. So, John Ruiz is dealing with all that stuff on his end. But again, I don't think that this impacts Miami in any way, shape, or form. They're in very, very good hands. The Canes Connection does an excellent job. And I think they're one of the prime collectives in all of the college football space. So again, I think, as far as that, the John Ruiz and the misconception just because of how much he is tied to Miami and tied to the logo. But really, there's just really no connection at all. I would say, again, it's been over a year since there's been any sort of bond there.
Yeah, certainly whatever's happening, it is working as Miami is hot on the trail right now. Gaby, thank you for taking a moment for us. We know 2 under 2 and I'm 1 month old right now. Must be tough, but Congratulations again, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, guys.
We appreciate it. Despite
Absolutely.
I'd say spotty sleep that he's getting right now, he is still keeping you up to date on everything that's happening. So check out his work on InsideTheU.com. Also, you can see the latest episode of their podcast, Through the Smoke, plus everything you need to know about fall camp, latest on the trail. I'm telling you, Inside the U's got you covered.